It's mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach. Like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Monday, August 19th.
Great pre-show.
Great pre-show. Got a lot of ideas about the show, how to make the studio better.
In the world.
Lots of talk in the world. A lot of friends in the world. Right? A lot of friends for a lot of people in the world. We have a lot of friends in this world. Y'all are our friends. We're very excited to be here. I hope everybody had a beautiful weekend. It's very hot here in South Louisiana and Baton Rouge. It is week 0. Football, real football that actually counts on the record, on your record at the end of the year, happens this week. I believe Thursday is the first college, or maybe is it Friday, first college football game. And obviously you have a small slate on the weekend, and then leads us into next weekend where LSU is going to open the season in Las Vegas. We're going to have all the conversations about the scrimmages that happened this past week, the 11-on-11s, some of the reports that are coming from camp. Look, media access is getting no more.
Kibosh.
Right? That means season's here. This where he's lost his fastball. That's false, obviously.
Never was his fastball.
Never. He's still got it.
99 on the black.
He's 45.
Yeah.
On the mound, which in football world, until you're about 75. He's bringing in recruits. He's stealing recruits. He's getting recruits to decommit from places that, if you listen to everybody, we cannot compete with them because we don't have enough money. But he's getting these guys to commit and decommit from other schools to commit to us, which shows what he's got. Now, everybody wants to say, well, whoa, okay. We all knew he could recruit.
I'll just say this. I'll throw this out there. I don't think the door is closed on Jabari Antoine.
That's your neck of the woods.
My sources say that
Sources.
the lock's not on the door, the key's not in hand.
It's kind of open, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of open.
Cracked?
I'm gonna throw that out there.
Is the door closed with no latch or cracked?
Are we coming through the back door, the window?
It may be cracked.
Like almost like an open door policy. Hey, look, if it's open, just
Open
walk in.
relationship.
It may be
You know what I
cracked.
mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like my apartment
I
when
don't know.
Bo used to come in and just eat my food, and when we were in class, and I'd come back and I had nothing in my refrigerator.
I don't know. I do know this though.
Not
I can
great, Bob.
tell you this right now. Just when you go to recruiting, and you talk about that. LSU, for those who don't understand this, you can note like this right now. This landscape of what LSU is, unfortunately, is not like when I was coming to school. In the sense of at that time, it was a perennial top 5, top 8, probably at worst top 10 team, and you knew that you were at the height of it. Like that's not exactly where they are right now. So you are going to have to do more than saying, especially when it comes to in-state guys, like saying these kids love and want to go to LSU.
Yeah.
That's not to now,
Right.
and that's not my assessment of it. I'm telling you what my sources are telling me.
Yeah,
when it
which I
comes to
love
how
that.
these kids are thinking about it.
Yeah.
So just letting you know that.
No, love that. It's great news. The 2025 class is shaping up to be something special. We're going to continue to monitor that because it feels like 2025 is so far away, but in the recruiting world it's not. You don't have that much more time before December technically in the early signing period. We're going to keep an eye on that. Obviously, it's 2024 season. Vegas is next week. Big opening week matchup for LSU. They've lost the last 4 or 5. 4. They've lost the last 4 day 1, week 1 matchups. Hopefully that trend does not continue. We're going to talk about what's been talked about at practice, what we've seen at practice, what they have seen at practice. There's the last practice, I guess, that is open to, I don't know if it's the media or if it's just the public, is this Saturday. All the former players are welcome back. I wasn't a former football player, but I'm going to try to tag along, try to make it out there. It's gonna be
You
hot.
would never.
I haven't been yet.
I know. I've been 2 years in a row.
I'm about to go. I'm going to try to. I'm going to be there.
We get a +1.
I don't get one. I would be the +1. Because I'm not a player.
I'm not talking about you.
Okay. I would like to be his. I would like to be his +1. I'll have to call my other friends. Oh, we can see if we can get some other
In the world.
some other +1s in the world. All my other friends in the world. NFL preseason week 2, I guess, or 2.5. If you want to count the Hall of Fame week, Hall of Fame game as week 1. Saints played Sunday night. How do you feel about it? For me, I'll tell you this. You don't want to put too much stock into preseason and like what they did. They let the starters play for the whole first quarter, and I think what you can see,
Chase Young might be good.
Chase Young's he said, "Hey, wait, y'all, don't forget about me."
I was in the Heisman conversation.
He almost intercepted a pass because he was so far in the backfield.
How do you think those reps look against Trevor Penning?
Well, here's what I want to get to, right? The offensive line has been much maligned throughout the course of the preseason, which rightfully so. But what I saw, at least in that first quarter with the starters and without Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill looked like a monster. He looks, I think, Mark Sanchez, a little corny. Fix the hair.
What was
what's
he
he doing with the-
doing?
What's going on with that?
It's like he lost a bet. Or I don't
I asked
know.
Allie looked at the TV, like she was on her phone, probably shopping or something. She looked at the TV, she goes, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah,
Like,
I
it looks like a bad wig. You know what I mean?
I ain't
looks
got a
like
crazy amount of room to talk, but damn, I don't know what he was doing. I was like, what is he doing with that?
Anyway, he did make a good comment. He said Taysom Hill is going. It feels like Taysom Hill is going to be used, but a little bit more frequently than
You play a running back.
usage. You check. I can't ever say
Usage
it.
rate.
Yeah,
Kevin,
usage-
use check.
Yeah,
Juice.
Juice. Juice. They're going to use him similar, right?
And he can pass.
You saw him at fullback, seal off the block, open the hole. You saw him get some carries. You saw him run routes. You saw him do a bunch of different things. I think that's how they're going to use him.
This might be the best form, shape, or whatever, the best version of
because of Clint Kubiak,
Taysom
right?
Hill that you've ever seen.
And
this year.
that was what I took away from that preseason game is you saw
Little offense.
the 49ers and Shanahan's concepts roll
Implemented.
right? The way the running game and the way they were going out to outside left, outside right, inside, the way they were blocking it, to me, that's a huge thing. I think that helps the offensive line.
Yeah.
Because it puts them in an advantageous position to block better. Now, Trevor Penning still did not look good.
Yeah.
But the offense as a whole, the running game looked good.
Line.
The passing game looked fine. They're not going to open it up, obviously, but in my mind, it looked good. I don't know what y'all think about it.
I think before I go too in depth on just the Saints, the NFL always, every year, there's always a surprise team that you didn't expect really to do much, who comes up and is more than able and more than better than just beating
Houston
you.
Texans.
Last year, Houston Texans. Last year, also Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right?
Yep.
They were a better team than what people thought. Well, with
Pittsburgh Steelers.
their head coach, Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator moving to Carolina to go and work with Bryce Young. Now you got another group over there. Now you got Kubiak coming here from. There's just so much movement. I wouldn't be surprised if you see that surprise team come out of NFC South this year. I think it's better than what people think. The overall records in that division over the past couple years, in my mind, doesn't really dictate the type of competition and what that division usually is. I wouldn't be surprised if the surprise team comes out of that division.
I agree, because here's a few things, right? NFC South. Now you had the Saints with a big offense. Bucks had a pretty decent offense with Jameis. Now they turned the ball over, but they were able to move the ball down the field, score some points. Matt Ryan in Atlanta, they would score some points, and then Cam and Carolina would score points. But all of those teams have been known, at least the last 5 to 7 years. Saints probably more recently, for defense, right? Bucks have always been historically good on defense. Atlanta has always been historically good on defense. Carolina has been pretty solid on defense. And so you're going to get year 2 with Bryce Young, new quarterback coach, new head coach who's really good with the quarterbacks. You'd imagine they're going to progress. Atlanta's made all these free agent signings to make their defense really good, right? They have some talented offensive players. They go out and get Kirk Cousins, but also draft Penix. So, they're feeling – people are sleeping on the Bucks. Baker Mayfield had the best year of his career last year, coming back on an offense that now he did lose his offensive coordinator, right?
Where is he now?
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he? Yeah, he's in Carolina. So the offensive coordinator Canales is now in Carolina. He is tasked with making Bryce Young basically what he did with Baker Mayfield. But Baker's a confidence guy. He runs really high on confidence. He's about as cocky as he was when he first got into the NFL, in a good way. Not in a bad. I think he learned some lessons early on.
Yeah, that cop caught him.
And so, yeah. And so,
that's what did it.
That was it. That's what brought him back down to earth. I
It
think,
would, though.
No doubt. No doubt. I think the NFC South is going to, like you said, I think it's going to be sneakier than people think. Listen, the Saints were not good last year, and they ended up 9-8. And and I know they say, the division was bad, but they ended up 9-8, and they probably should have been 11-6. There's probably 2 games that they definitely just
Debacle,
right? So what I saw from the Saints in preseason, it's preseason. You're not going to see the offense open up, but the concepts look different, and it looks more fun, and it looks like it's going to be more of an explosive. And the defense looked good. I mean, Peyton Turner was in the backfield.
Willie Gay
was all over the field. All of the cornerbacks. Now, Kool-Aid McKinstry looked good, then he got hurt, but he's going to be good. He's fine. They don't think it's a serious injury. And you haven't had Alvin. I know Alvin is, wants a new contract, but he's going to go out there and he's going to play, and I think this offense is going to be perfect for him.
And if he does that, you can just dot the I with Taysom.
And look, the other running backs look good too. Listen, that's the other thing,
Jamal
right?
Williams got a ton of run.
The concepts from San Francisco. I mean, outside before they even got Christian McCaffrey, all those running backs were running for 1,000 yards every year, right?
Everybody they put back there is doing it.
Now you have Christian McCaffrey, and so now it's a whole different animal.
You added Christian McCaffrey, and all you really added was the ability and the dynamic ability to do pass, run, and kind of do everything.
Yeah.
And he's able to run routes that not many backs in the league, much less many backs in San Francisco, can do. But
Alvin
everybody
can do it
everybody,
too.
Yeah, everybody.
And that's what makes me excited, because Alvin, when they both came out, Alvin and Christian McCaffrey are like the same type of running back, right? Both can run inside the tackles. They're not huge in stature, but they're strong. They're both unbelievable receivers out the backfield. So, it was encouraging to me as much as a preseason game can be. It was encouraging. So we'll see what happens. The last little tidbit on the preseason before we really get into the nuts and bolts of this conversation. Derek Stingley seems like he's becoming acclimated to the NFL. He's
Like
always
the
been
league's
good.
becoming acclimated
He's
to
been
him.
hurt. He's been hurt, but he's been good. And when he's been out there, he's been good, but he's been hurt.
I think he's becoming acclimated to health.
That's
Because
it.
when we saw him healthy at LSU, it was locked down as soon as he stepped on campus. And then as he got hurt, it kind of dwindled away. And I think he's been getting healthy again. That's not good for the rest of the league.
You had a little LSU on LSU crime, right? With the Texans and the Giants, Stingley.
How bad is Danny
no,
Dimes?
we don't claim Daniel Jones.
No. But Stingley
So
was
bad.
Stingley and Malik Neighbors,
Yeah.
right?
I was having this conversation with
Okay.
one Noah Tingle over the weekend watching
Yep.
the Giants game. When's the last time Malik Neighbors had to work this hard?
What do you mean though? Like work hard as in what?
To get a pass thrown his way and complete one?
Yeah, that's a concern.
Danny really had a good. He and Kay Adams. He was up here, and now he's back down here.
Going into last year, he was riding high. He signed the big deal, and then, boy, you think
a
that
disaster.
you think that they are nervous
2
right
picks.
now?
They should be.
You think they're nervous for their jobs?
Saquon looked so good in that Philadelphia.
Saquon's gonna kill it there.
Kelly Green.
He's gonna kill it there, and I think they know that.
I think they knew that. I think
Yeah,
they knew when they let him go, like, hey, we would love to have
And look,
him. but
they gave a quarterback a contract, so they are giving him all the opportunity to succeed. If he doesn't succeed, then it's over, and you got to go out and find somebody else to go.
if there was,
and
yeah,
replace
let's say if there was a death wish move that they made as a regime there when it comes to the roster, it's not letting Saquon go. It was actually signing Daniel Jones to the money that they signed him for. That's it. That's what it comes down to. Is either you're gonna put the money, they put the money in there, and you're going to build around him in a sense to put the resources to actually protect him to be better. And if he can't, then you probably go down with him. And I think that's the move that was made, and that's what they're riding on. But
Yeah.
I don't think they thought Saquon wasn't going to be good this year at all. It's
Right.
just-
Yeah,
What
where
was
we
the cost
allocated the
efficiency
money.
for them?
Exactly. It's the sunk cost. And his son said it the best. He goes, Dad, you only get this job once. Why would you not trade up for Jaden Daniels, who's now been named the starter for the Washington Commanders?
Which you knew that was going to happen, right? They drafted him 2 overall. You would hope he'd be the starter. It was too expensive. They weren't going to trade. Washington wasn't going to get rid of that number 2 pick.
No.
That was the issue, right? Like, why didn't you do something? It wasn't that they didn't want to do it. They obviously did want to do it. They just weren't going to be able to do it.
Well, if you're open to trade, just let me know.
Yeah, I mean, Washington's like, yeah, nope,
No.
we're not. You want to give us? You can give us your entire draft like Ditka did for Ricky Williams, and we're still not gonna give you that because we need a quarterback, and we're trying to rebuild our franchise because it's been a disaster with Snyder and those guys, and so we need a guy who we feel like is
RG3 is available.
RG3 trying to make a comeback. You think?
Why not?
You know, why not?
Loves a croissant.
Kaepernick still thinks he can come back and play. He turned down a coaching job with the 49ers. I mean, with the not the 49ers, with the Chargers. So maybe he's on the market.
When is that going to be over?
You know my stance on that. If he really, really wanted to play football and get back in the NFL, he would have played in some other leagues to try to show that he was available. But he didn't want to do that, and he wanted to play back. He just wanted to be in the NFL. To me, that doesn't mean you're that serious about playing football again.
Flag football quarterback for the
And that's it.
Olympics.
I don't know many. If I take it to something simple like this, like whatever, man, like I don't know how much he is or is not working on the side, and if he is working out 6 times a day, I just don't know many people who can sue an employer and still work as an employee for that employer. That doesn't usually happen.
Doesn't work well.
I just on the strength of that doesn't usually happen. So I wouldn't.
And it doesn't mean they're discriminating against him either. Like I think
He's
in the
old now.
If I sued you for something, I don't think that we would really be friends anymore.
That's
You know what I mean? Like,
he didn't sue one of the 32. He sued the hood of them all.
yeah,
It's kind of
sued
hard.
32.
It's kind of hard to work for him. I don't know. That's just me.
yeah. I mean,
That's my take.
sounds like it's common sense.
Yeah, I don't.
but
Yeah, it's
you know,
that's tough.
seems like he's doing fine.
That's a big hurdle to jump if you ever gonna get to the other.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think it's a hurdle. It's a mountain you got to climb.
Yeah.
I hope you brought the spikes.
It's the fucking what's the tallest mountain in the world?
Everest?
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, it's Mount Kilimanjaro. You gotta climb that. You may
Nope.
die on the way up, but you're gonna have to.
Yeah,
that's
don't
the
take a
only
knee
way,
on
that's
that
the only
thing.
way you can make it up there. You have to
No
go through. No
resting.
going back. So we'll see. But look, football is here. We had a buddy in town.
If we're talking Kaepernick, football's here.
I was trying to get out of that. We had a buddy in town this weekend for a golf tournament. We stunk. And it was the first.
waiting on that
It was the
call.
first fantasy football draft that I was not really a part of. Was witnessed. I actually forgot he was He forgot he was drafting a few times. And he had a few auto picks. He kept going auto draft, not auto draft, auto draft.
God, I got Kaepernick.
We're having a good time, And so to me, it's like, damn, that made me realize I probably should start doing some mock drafts. But football's here. We're talking a little NFL. Let's get back to LSU. Let's get back to the college football world because college football is going to take center stage this week. Okay.
Real quick, before
Yes,
we
real
leave
quick.
the
Yep.
NFL, if you want
We're
it,
gonna come back to the NFL.
it's out there. Chiefs plus 575 to win the Super Bowl.
You
This
take
man's
that?
throwing behind the back passes.
You took
Hey,
that
if you wanted to, I saw today there is
in New Orleans.
I think over under maybe 43 or 3,600 yards. I think for Josh Allen season total
Goal.
passing yards.
Yeah, because they
What?
don't have confidence in their
I
receivers
would
over there.
bang
huh?
that all day.
'Cause they have
I think it's
Gabe-
33. I think it's 36.
Who's their number one there? It's Keon
Can't
Coleman.
come.
But like,
Gabe Davis is gone.
yeah, Gabe Davis is gone, and
He's got to
Diggs
throw
is
it to
gone.
somebody.
I know.
Coach,
Hook it.
that
chuck
man
it.
is throwing for 3,600 yards one way or
I
another.
agree.
That's happening.
I
I
agree.
can promise you that.
I agree.
So funny that
No
my
doubt.
app is open right now.
Was that?
So funny that the app's open.
I gotta dust my app off.
Dusted, huh?
I gotta go and see if
You
it
gotta
even
go
lets
pull
me
it
back
out
into my
out of the
bank
closet.
account.
What do you mean dusted off?
Pull it out from under the ground. Buried it in the backyard.
Let's say it ain't dusty.
I buried it in the backyard. Got to clean it. Got to charge it. Maybe put in some rice.
If you need
I
some
put the
seed
old phone,
money-
the sat phone in there. I didn't want to even use my real phone.
If you need some seed money, just let me know.
I may. Where are you at now?
Well, now I've got some futures in, but we're road to 3K starts again.
I mean, how many futures? Because we know how those really go for you. So that really could
They're
only be
good. They go fantastic.
Well, I'm just no. I'm saying that could only really be like
Well, when
$10
you do a lot
threw
of
in.
them, you're bound to hit a few.
Yeah, it can only be like $10 he threw
Which
in.
is
It's-
good.
It's futures, bro. He ain't betting $30 on them. So
They've been $2.50.
I did $20 on the Chiefs.
Whoa!
I thought about y'all when I put it.
Wow!
Yeah.
Holy crap!
20 to win 135.
damn.
Wow, good for you. We're
Look at
growing
you.
up.
And I have Nebraska
Oh, my
college
God.
football 7.5 wins. Year
Oh,
two
okay. I
for Matt
thought
Rule.
you were like Nebraska like to make the playoff or something. Okay.
No, just
7.5
7.5 wins.
You,
Matt
you're a
Rule
Rule
year
guy,
two.
Huh?
I
You're a Rule
am.
guy?
I saw that video that they played on McAfee whenever he was chastising the team in front of their open practice, in front of the fans. Like, this isn't Nebraska football. What are we doing? It's about to be a long day, boys.
Look, Nebraska. He's gonna be able to get some guys up there and some talent up there. And I think he's gonna. I mean, look,
He's got a quarterback.
He knows offense, right? And he's done it everywhere he's been except for the Panthers.
He finally has a quarterback too, and that's a place that if you think about through the history, even when they were good, they've never had a traditional type of quarterback.
No, never.
That's not the game that
They've
ever
been
played.
stuck in like the early 2000s.
Never played that kind of game.
offensively.
Yeah.
They just haven't been able to get out of it.
They're stuck in like the 80s. 3 yards in
Yeah,
the cloud
Iowa
of
too.
dust.
And
Yeah.
them in Iowa, same thing.
Oh, whenever we stayed in Omaha, the wherever Airbnb we stayed in, he had old Nebraska stuff everywhere. His YouTube, app, it was Nebraska 1990s. Like he was watching
Really? Oh,
old
he was
highlights.
locked in. He was trying to get fired
He's
up.
just
for the
trying to
season.
get
I don't
feel
remember that. What
something.
do you-
No, it was his Airbnb.
Oh, the way. Oh, it's true. You didn't stay with us.
Yeah, no, all right.
No, I had the.
You just came in.
You would have enjoyed our Airbnb.
You just came and raided our Airbnb. We didn't actually stay there. It's just true.
You missed the best night at our Airbnb.
We can do it again.
Well, we can't. We have to wait till the whole
We'll
Next
do
year.
it again.
next year.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's talk football. They had 6 straight LSU football. They had 6 straight days
Hot as hell.
in the scorching. Like it was
Triple
hot.
digits.
Listen to me. It was hot.
Hot
Like,
as hell.
You almost had a stroke.
miserable, right? They had 6 straight days of practice, and it feels like they kind of understand who's got what role now. I don't think there's really much more competition going on. At this point, it's about making sure everybody stays healthy and is ready to play for next week. Speaking of health, Chris Hilton, who has not been healthy very often, is down again with an ankle sprain. Not a high ankle sprain, they announced. It seems like he was kind of in line to be that number 3. He's out. With him being out, who replaces him? I mean, in 11-11s, they had Xavier Thomas, but maybe Aaron Anderson. We don't know what the personnel was on that 3-yard touchdown jet sweep that he gave to Xavier Thomas. But in conversations with Kuhn, he was talking about how they were throwing balls to Xavier Thomas like on fade routes, and he was going up with high pointing balls, which I think is a little different than Aaron Anderson. They're not the same player what he was explaining. So, DJ Chester was hurt, but I feel like that's kind of nothing, right? I think he's gonna be back.
They got some
tag team-
lower.
I'll tag
Oh,
team-
he's got some
belly issues.
yeah, a little
I'll
football
tag
thing.
team the Xavier Thomas thing too as well. You got to remember, there's two things that when I think about him and I think about Aaron Anderson as a player as well. What you think about is like, oh, they play the game a lot alike. They do a lot of the same things, right? But you got to remember, one was already at this school, the other one was not. One has a ton of SEC experience. The other one on the field does not. I would imagine that Xavier Thomas at this point has the upper hand
agree.
on Aaron Anderson in this situation.
I agree. And here's the other thing I want to talk about is like when you talk about the too deep depth chart, you know, you're looking at this and you're saying, oh, who's going to start, who's not. The starters are just a formality, right? You're going to be the first people on the field, but based on how the game is going and the flow of the game is going, and you know, let's say Major Burns is the star, right? He's going to start off as a star. And then Toviano, it seems like he's the second team star player, right? That's kind of his position. If the game starts and after the third drive, Toviano is the one making all the plays and he's out there, he's going to be the guy, right? So, like, it's like basketball. The sixth man sometimes plays more than the starters. Sometimes
Jamal
it's a formality.
Crawford.
So that's why the depth chart is so important. And these guys being treated as starters, especially on the defensive side of the ball, in my mind, is important. I feel like we've kind of figured that part out right now. Now, you don't want many injuries on that side of the football, especially up front. But, I mean, the reports coming out of practice are good. Brian Kelly came out and had a really nice presser. We have some quotes and we have some video
Clips.
from him. What is something that you saw or that you heard or that you have read that either excites you or worries you this late in practice?
Yeah, I want to touch on, before you touch on the Lloyd, I want to touch on the depth part a little bit as well. Now, don't get me wrong. Any team and any coach in any situation would love to have every position on the field that's 3 to 4 deep and people that they feel comfortable putting out there. That's not really really a thing. And at the same time, think, at the end of the year, usually the best teams are usually the ones that have stayed healthy a ton. 100%. Because guess what? You can't do, even if we are 3 or 4 deep. There's only so many reps that can go around in practice. So even those guys that we have that are really good, they're not getting reps throughout the year the way they should. So they're still not progressing the way they should. So is it great to be 3 or 4 deep everywhere? Yeah, because you just feel like when somebody goes down, it's easier to get back up and somebody's inevitably going to go down. But at the end of the day, you need the guys that are penciled in as ones to stay healthy. And the more you can get those guys to do that, the better chance you got of being good as a team, because they're getting all the reps, right? And from week to week, they're getting all the reps, they're getting all the experience, they're getting all of this stuff. So when one of them goes down, it's going to stun you a little bit, and I don't care how talented that 2 or that 3 or whatever is. So you got to think of it that way. Yeah, it's great to have the depth. Everybody wants the depth, but you still name ones for a reason. You need those guys to stay healthy.
No doubt. And I think, you're talking about that. I think the emergence of Jalen Lee at defensive tackle, he was hurt the first week of practice, but I think he's shown enough to where there was kind of a debate early on. Is he going to be a starter? He's not going to start right away. But having a guy like that you feel comfortable starting as another defensive tackle, as a number 3 guy, to me is a huge thing, because now that gives you rotation. That helps you with depth. That helps you with keeping people fresh. To me, that's extremely important. Lloyd, what do you got?
I am excited. Well, and Coach Brian Kelly talked about this a little bit, but the way that they're able to manufacture pressure, manufacture packages on the defensive side with Blake Baker, where they worked on a 4-3, which is called the Buffalo package. Buffalo.
Crazy how that's what today's ball is. A traditional 4-3.
It used to be a
is
base
now
defense.
The big Buffalo package thing. That's crazy.
But
that used to be pretty standard.
Yeah, was.
Yeah.
So you have Whit Weeks coming in for Jordan Allen to make it more of a 4-3 look. I love all of these packages that they're putting in to be able to, because some of the parts of the LSU defense isn't 5 stars everywhere. He's manufacturing ways to make it viable, and I think what he's doing on the defensive end is going to turn some heads, and it obviously will come to fruition in week 1, it'll be for good or bad.
Do we know if he's going to be on the sideline or in the box?
I hope so. Put a fucking shoulder pads and a helmet.
Who?
Blake Baker.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think just by the sounds of it, for what he wants to do, and honestly what this LSU defense needs, it feels like he needs to be on the side.
I agree.
Because there is so many moving parts, because he's got so many guys he's trying to fit in, it's hard to be able to communicate to all these guys in a timely fashion, if you will, from the box. I hope he's going to be on the sideline because it sounds like there's just a lot that's going to have to be moving, and it's not impossible to do. It's just hard I think it's harder to do it from up top.
Open-ended question. With the unlimited coaches and roles now that college football is instilled, does that have an effect on how many people can be on the field?
Yeah, I'm sure there's still a limit.
There has to be, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't think that everybody can be on the field or on the sideline, especially. I know they haven't really come out with any rules, but if there was rules that were maybe lax, especially with the whole Connor Stallions things last year, like they're gonna if there's rules in place,
they're
gonna make sure
you can't just you can't just have any. Yeah, there's rules. There's 100% rules.
And look, sometimes there's
You
rules.
coach for
but
Western Michigan?
There's rules, but no rules. You know, like okay, we get it. Everybody does it. It's not a big deal. And then Connor Stallions ruins it for everybody. One person ruins it for everyone. Now they're like, oh, this is the rules. No go. Can't have this happen again.
It's a chain link fence.
NCAA is already getting hammered.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have to at least do something for the good of the game instead of just crushing the game. So yeah, I imagine there is a limit. On
There's
field
always
stuff.
been rules. Like let's not get that. There's been rules.
Yeah, but I would imagine Sloan will be on the field. Do you think?
He might be in the press box, man.
I think Sloan is in the press box. I think Cortez Hankton's on the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I
how it
think-
was last year.
I think Hankton's on the field because he's got to be around the receivers going. Because look, there's a lot of new guys that are going to be having roles there. I would imagine same thing that Blake Baker's going to do. Hankton's going to want to do is have his hands on him. Hey, this is what you want to do. This is where you need to be. What did you see? This is what you need to do. This is the adjustment. Joe Sloan, I think, has got a little more confidence in Nuss understanding where he needs to be and what he needs to do, and having.
He's also got one guy to talk to, obviously. If
Exactly.
Health willing, that's the only thing too. But you got to think about it. Like the reason why I said Blake, I think I think should be on the sideline is simply because they got so many guys that are going to be moving out when it comes to the D line and that linebacking core, and obviously the secondary as well, just with the packages and stuff that they want to do. And Blake's the new guy. Blake's the one putting it in. But the other side of it is those two guys have been working together. They've been here. If we had to point at one group offensively who's going to have a lot of movement and who's going to have a lot of guys in and out, we'd all say it's what? It's very easy. Very easy. It's the receivers. So I would imagine that the quote-unquote receivers coach will be on the sideline making sure that he's got direct communication with the offensive coordinator who's up in the box, and he's able to make these moves and have these conversations and not have that guy have to do it. And there's only one phone on the sideline that you can use. You feel what I'm saying?
So Mikey knows all about that.
Yeah, don't say
telephone.
hello. This ain't a fucking telephone.
Hey, how are you?
Sorry. Hello. Don't say hello to me, son. Get the call right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I would think.
And I think he was on the sidelines for Missouri also. Whenever
Who was, Hankton?
No,
Blake Baker.
Baker.
Okay, yeah. That I don't know. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I mean, it just to me that makes the most sense.
Yeah, he was.
Right. That makes that to me that just
Yeah.
the way the flow of the game goes and what he's trying to do, it just makes the most sense for him being on the sidelines.
And we've seen people do both. You know,
No
Bo
doubt.
Pelini was on the sideline guy, but Chavis was not. He was in the box guy.
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart's an
On the field guy.
Yeah, there's
Will
ways of
Muschamp.
doing both. Yeah,
Will
there's ways
Muschamp on
of
the
doing
field guy.
both, but, you know.
Yeah, I think, well, and just because of what Baker's brought so far in terms of energy, effort, all of that stuff, like feels like it's just only right that he would be on the sidelines to be with the fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think when they pay you 2.5, I don't think they pay you to be down there just to be with the fellas.
Rah rah.
You're no longer the rah-rah
You're not
guy.
just a motivator anymore. You
Sorry, Lord, I don't mean to break that to you, but you're not paid
Well,
to
you're
be
wrong
with the
because
fellas.
he's going to be on the sidelines hyping people up.
That's not why.
Did
Brian Polian was on the sidelines. He did a great job.
To be with the fellas.
He was
Apparently, that's what you think.
That's all he wants to do is be with the fellas.
still ain't seen a gold hat.
Did
since.
Brian Kelly say anything that concerns you, or did that made you overly light, like in his pressers or any of the clips that he said or any of the interviews that he had, about the progression of players or kind of plans of players? He was pretty vague in a lot of stuff that he said. He didn't really point out too much that we don't really know.
I will play this clip. It's about something that we've talked about a little bit with Harold Perkins and the Green Dot, and he spoke on it a little bit. So I think that was interesting just because we had that conversation on Friday, and it is something that I do feel like could be a potential hack for the LSU defense because, like we've said, there's multiple coaches that wanted to be able to have 3 green dots on defense, and now LSU essentially has 2, with Greg Penn being able to make the calls, now Harold Perkins wearing the dot. So here is Brian Kelly talking on this situation a little bit.
Well, he's a green dot, so we're just, because we're going into a scrimmage today, we use that period of time to kind of get him up to speed on some of the communication, because we hadn't done a lot of work with him with a green dot. We have been using Greg Penn quite a bit. But, Greg could come off the field at some time, in some of our packages. And so we wanted to make sure we had another guy. Greg knows all the calls. So it was really just trying to get him up to speed on some of the calls with the green dot. And he gets split out if we go to a spread to his side in a rugby punt. So it won't be something that we do all the time. It will be rugby punt to his side. So it will be a specific. He won't be out there all the time. All right, thank you.
With the little grin on his face.
Yeah, he was like, don't take this too far.
Yeah,
I said split out. Don't take this too far. He's not going to be out there all the time.
How we feel on the offense?
So the one thing that stuck out to me when I was going through his notes and everything that he said about the offense is I truly think that, now don't get me wrong, this has nothing they do. There's young guys behind them, but there's also young guys in that quarterback room. So I think he feels like, hey, we need to be able to, when we see guys struggling because of the caliber of competition you play in this league, when we see guys struggling up front, we have to be able to chip and help out and get on it quick and not just say, hey, it's the SEC, go deal with James Pierce Jr. for the rest of the game. Good luck, bro. That's not going to be good for you. That's not going to be fun.
Right.
And I think he's worried about, I would like to, more so than regular, I need to keep Nussmeier as upright as possible, because the better I can do that, the better this offense will run, and we won't have to put in someone who's not experienced in this offense and or experienced at football at this level in there. I think he's worried about that room, which it makes sense.
When you say he's worried about that room, is he worried about if Nussmeier gets hurt?
Yeah.
Or not Nussmeier in general?
No, not Nussmeier in general. If he's hurt.
Behind Nuss.
If Nussmeier can't play, what's behind him is not there's two things. One of them is experienced in this league, has never played a down in this offense. The other ones are neither. They haven't played a down in this offense, and they're not experienced in this league. That's hard to put in at this point in the season where it's, let's be honest, this is a very important season in Brian Kelly's career. There's 12 teams that's making it in, and he's won 10 games 2 years in a row in his first 2 years here. Guess what he's expected to at least win by, let's be honest, the faithful here.
Yeah.
10 games at least.
They're expecting him to win 10 regular season games.
10 games at least. So 10 games at least puts you in. So to not be a top 12 team is going to put so much hot on his plate. And I don't think that that's where he wants to be at the end of this year. So I think he's worried about that position because we don't necessarily have experience depth that I think at this point in the year he's comfortable with having out there.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that, you see some teams that have the embarrassment of riches on the offensive side, like on the quarterback position. I think LSU's had that the last couple years. I think they're going to continue to have that. Now, everything goes the way everybody expects it to go, and he doesn't get, and Nuss plays well, doesn't get hurt, God forbid, and he just does what he needs to do. I think by the middle of the year, I think those younger guys are going to make those adjustments, but it's different when you're on the field. Right. It's different when you're playing. It's different when it speeds up. I understand all of that, and I think that, it makes sense, right? Like, that is a worry because it's not something that
as talented
happens, but like your backup quarterback's your backup quarterback for a reason.
Yep.
Unless you got Tua or
Jalen Hurts,
Caleb Williams for whenever Rattler was there, like all those guys, like
that's something that I don't even want to speak into existence.
No, me either.
But it is interesting to talk about the wide receiver room as talented as they are. They've only one of them. Maybe Chris Hilton, if you want to put him in there, has played in the system before where you have Joe Sloan as his first-year offensive coordinator, but he feels very tied in to what LSU is doing offensively, whether it was as a quarterback's coach and now as the offensive coordinator. It felt like a seamless transition, but you brought in C.J. Daniels. You brought in other players that you haven't really seen. Kyron Lacey's the one kind of stalwart that you've had in the wide receiver room that LSU is kind of focusing on. That's why he's been dubbed wide receiver one, because he's been there the longest. Chris Hilton being hurt doesn't really help that case because you have a Xavier Thomas that's coming in, C.J. Daniels that's coming in. These are all transfer guys.
My guy, Kyle Parker.
Kyle Parker's out there somewhere.
My God, Kyle Parker. Just watch the name. He's gonna come in there. I'm not saying he's gonna be the number one, but he's gonna get some run.
I don't know.
And if you've been listening to Bryce Kuhn, it's Landon Abieta.
If you need a guy to get some possessions and make the catch,
you're pigeonholing him, huh?
No, that's what he did. That's what he said.
Possession
Sounds
guy?
like you're hitching to that wagon. Now,
No. Listen, I'm repeating what he said.
He got down to 3-point stance at wide receiver. I'm
Vince
kidding.
Papale.
Yeah.
If you see the knuckles, if you see the white in the knuckles,
They're
you know
coming.
he's coming. So he makes the audible. Best play of his life.
Points up to the family in the stands. Section 615.
That was it. Mark Wahlberg's got another movie on Netflix. It reminds me of kind of like
The Other Guys?
No, is it? Is it supposed to be funny?
I don't know.
Oh, I think it's more of like an action. Like they're trying to like heist something. Like what was
The Town.
Nope.
Shooter.
Before that.
I mean, we can go down the
Before
Mark
it was
Wahlberg.
something. It was like an Italian Job.
Oh, Mini Cooper.
Yeah, the Mini Coopers. Yeah,
I always wanted to write on a safe with that liquid pencil, like she does.
Oh yeah.
She gets a little nervous.
She was great in the movie.
What the hell just happened?
I don't know. But we
Mini Cooper terrible to have actually.
But-
Hard to get maintenance done.
and it seems like you get smushed if you got in a wreck.
Yeah.
You know, it's not great.
Y'all are still going.
We're still talking to Mini Coopers. But no, you talk about the receiver room. You talk about these guys stepping up. They all have to step up. I think another part of an extension of the receiver room is Trey'Dez Green, right? He's made some, standout catches and standout plays. He's obviously young. He's going to have an adjustment. Pimpton's kind of.
Oh, Pimpton said,
Progresses
"I see
way.
this Trey'Dez Green conversation. I raised you myself."
Yeah, let me put myself in there. You haven't heard much about Mason Taylor.
There isn't much to say about it. We know.
Yeah, you know what he can do, but
1,000-yard guy.
750 yards, combined in the tight end room.
Oh, he's gonna get some carries.
Yeah, combined in the tight end room, though. They're all
All-purpose yards.
They're all gonna get there. I'll tell you what. I'm tired of the
1,000-yard conversation.
what if. Let's see this. What's gonna happen? I'm ready to see it on the field. Right. I think everybody's getting a little antsy. Brian Kelly talked about preparing for mismatches, and his quote was, "We got to help his ass," right? Which, as a coach, is the most important thing. Is like that's what makes a good. People want to ask what makes a good coach a good coach. It's understanding your strengths, understanding the other team's weaknesses, understanding how to get your best player against their not as good a player on the defense, and exposing that mismatch, and then adjusting to that throughout the game, over and over and over again. That's how you determine who's a good coach and who's not a good coach. In-game adjustments, if you go talk to a bunch of these NFL guys, a bunch of these college guys, you don't have enough time in the locker room to go out and change a game plan at halftime. The in-game adjustments are, hey, what are they doing? How are they succeeding against us? What are we doing, and how are we not succeeding? Okay, this is what they're doing. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to still do the same stuff, but we're going to motion this guy here, so now he's there, and now they're going to have to figure that out. Very rarely do you see them come out and just change the game plan at halftime. Like you've been in there. It's almost impossible to do. You have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can't change the game plan in 20 minutes.
It's tough to do. It's tough to get all 11 on board with completely changing their game plan. Even if you have it in your mind and you know things to do, it's hard to get those guys doing it. So the teams that are able to do it, you obviously have a very high IQ locker room who's able to think on their feet and change stuff like this. That's tough to get that done across the board, though.
Yep.
I will say that, yeah.
And look, when I say you got to help his ass, he's talking about some of the young guys going up against veteran guys, which is
clearly something happened in practice where he's like, we got.
That's where I'm started at. I think he disguised it as worrying about the young guys, but in a sense he is. Like, I'm cool with Emory Jones and all these guys going one-on-one, but what if something happens and now the young guys got to come in? Well, if they can't protect, who can we not protect?
Right.
Who cannot stay on the field?
Right.
I think that's just me, that was his way of saying, if we have to insert these young guys, we have to help them, because if we don't help them, we may not have that guy standing upright.
Right.
And then that's going to put us in a real problem with this offense.
100%. That's what he was saying, right? Like, you had a little bit of a stomach virus going on throughout the offensive linemen. They must have had an O-line dinner that didn't really work out very well for them.
Went down nice.
Probably came out nice too. Probably.
Oh, I don't know about nice.
Yeah, probably didn't feel very good. He may have been sweating like I was sweating Sunday morning.
The heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, not good.
I didn't get drunk.
I really wasn't drunk. I wasn't. If I would be the first one to tell you if I was overserved, I was not. I was
Properly served.
He was on the
wild experience.
sauce.
But the reason why I brought up we got to help his ass is because you had Weston Davis. You have some of these young guys on the offensive line going up against veterans on the defensive line, right? Weston Davis matched up against Braden Swinson. Swinson obviously is a veteran. He showed you last year that he's very capable of getting to the quarterback. And it seemed like he took these young guys like, hey, listen, I'm going to show you. Like, let me learn you something a little bit right now, right? Like, you ain't ready yet. Let me show you why you're not ready. Same thing happened in the interior with Jacoby Guillory. Jacoby and Guillory. I always say Jacoby. Jacoby and Guillory. And so I think that
Proud
was
of Alexandria.
That's your boy.
Yep.
That is what prompted we got to help his ass. Like, hey, can't just run the same plays that we've been running when you have the number one offensive line out there. If these guys are out, you got to understand where they're going to try to attack or where you're going to have a mismatch, and we got to help that guy either with a play call or with a chip or with something else. And so I think that's kind of where it came from.
And he could also be speaking on the running backs room. Like, I feel like you feel very confident in what Josh Williams has brought to the table in terms of pass blocking and just knowing assignments. Like, if you look back at the Alabama game, he was the first one to get the block on the run that scored the touchdown wherever LSU went for two. Like, he's downfield blocking. Florida, he catches a body, and he's always just seems to be right place, right time. This could be like, hey, Josh Williams isn't always going to be in. We got John Emery. You have Caleb Jackson, who you want to be able to get into the game. But you've seen Brian Kelly in these situations with younger players that he didn't play Deshaun Womack last year because, like, he didn't know what to do.
Right.
And so you're getting in these situations where, especially on the O-line, where there's going to be attrition, nobody stays all five healthy all year.
Don't say that.
It just doesn't happen. You'll come out. You'll be out
did.
of the
19
game.
Did.
Who?
They stay healthy.
Oh, Joe Burrow protected him.
Maybe
he won the Joe Moore Award.
Maybe
The
no
shit I've ever heard, but all right.
Yeah.
What?
He got rid of it quick.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're not still. You don't get hurt because they're holding on to it. You get hurt because the guy rolls over you or does something. Like, he didn't stop them from getting hit from the other guys.
Yeah, he got rid of it quick. He didn't have to block very long.
Snap and throw. Right?
Snap and throw.
Sure.
3 yards in a cloud of
seconds.
dust.
0.5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
All those 60-yard bombs down the field that
I guess
take about 7
he
seconds.
just forgot how to do that once he got to the league, and that's why he's taking so many sacks there, right?
Hit that back foot and let it go.
That's what it is?
Shit.
3 steps and a hitch.
Yeah. Curl route. Hitch and go.
Hitch and go.
Yeah. 4 plays like Novocaine. That's all we got.
Give it time. It always works.
Always works. But back to the Caleb Jackson conversation. I think it sounds like Caleb's ready as far as the development on the running back spot, as like picking up blitzes, pass blocking. Not if he's run blocking, not a good spot. Maybe put a fullback, put both of them at the same time.
Give it time. It always works.
Yeah. I think it seems like he understands those concepts a little bit more, which means I think you're going to see him a lot. You're going to see Josh Williams there, but you're going to see him a lot. You can't just have one running back.
Yeah, dude, I think it's only a matter of weeks until you see that kid featured as the back out of the backfield, because I think you're due to see somebody special carrying the rock this year. And I think his maturation in this offense and his ability to play on third down, if it has grown from what it was last year, it's not going to be long until you're like he's on the field for probably 70% of the plays out there. Because I think he has that kind of a runner. I mean, I think he has that kind of ability when he is the runner or the ball is in his hands. And we didn't really get a chance to see what he's like catching the ball out the backfield and if there is that part of his game or not. His ability to stay out there on third down this year, if we're able to see that early on in him, watch out.
I think
I think that'll really – this offense will take off.
Yeah, and I think he's a complete back, right? Like, over the last – probably since 19 – you've seen them use the running backs a little bit more.
Trey Bradford
in the passing game, right? Obviously, 19 was more so because you had all the pieces in place. You had the guy running the ship, but last year you saw some. I think you're going to see a lot more with Nuss at quarterback, and instead of him having to scramble and run, you're going to see him avoid pressure, and that's going to be an outlet. And I think Caleb Jackson has shown you that he has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and be a complete back.
And that's something that, while we talk about Mason Taylor a ton about that kind of check down feature for where Jaden Daniels would tuck and run, you saw Mason Taylor have a career high actually in the bowl game with Nussmeier in, where you saw him go for almost 100 yards in that game. Noah Tingle, who also does the Colada show with me, he said like what he's seen at practice has been a lot of show. Yeah, it is now. Get ready. What he's seen a lot of is like the swing, like check downs have been more to the backs than it has been more to tight end, because Mason Taylor's featured in the offense is not a check down. He's a legitimate route runner. So the 1-2 go look for like Mahat is now running backs, and you'll see Caleb Jackson, Josh Williams, you've obviously seen catch out the backfield. John Emery can also catch it out the backfield.
Look, John Emery, it seems
scored a touchdown.
Squeezed in there.
Squeezed it in. Knee brace and all.
He's going to
not have to worry about school because he's graduated.
Well, listen, when you have injuries like that, the hardest part is the beginning. And then once there's going to be a time where you get through that scar tissue, and not even just trusting it. Like, you're going to go, like, there's been times where, like, I've been kind of banged up, maybe, tweaked knee or ankle or whatever, and you come back and you play for a few weeks, and it doesn't feel like it's getting any better. It's always sore, and all of a sudden you go in a couple days, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, damn, it feels way better. And it's just your body has to get used to it. It's got to flush all that stuff out. They're doing all the right things. He's obviously hasn't re-injured it. He's just sore. And so I think the longer he's out there, the better he's going to continue to play. He's got, 2 weeks, right? He has 2 more weeks to get to the game. I think every week and every day it's going to get better and better and better. And now you're going to have 3 reliable running backs who all have a significant amount of experience in the backfield, which I think is important. You're not relying on a freshman, and that way you can kind of ease your star freshman into the fold. From
Cade Durham?
Yes.
Duncanville?
Right? Like you
can catch it out of the backfield and go.
Exactly. You don't want to rely on him early on, but he's going to be – listen to me. Next year it's going to be Caleb Jackson
and Caden Durham. And John Emery.
Yeah, for the 8th year. But, like, those guys, like Josh Williams is gone and Emery's gone.
Hey, bro, Emery was on the team. He was in the White House with the team. You remember that? Right?
That is crazy.
It's crazy to think about.
6th year, right?
Get the gat.
Respectfully, dog. Like, it's just crazy to think about. He was in these videos.
6th year.
Yeah.
They asked BK about that, like his eligibility and how it happened. He was like, I don't even know how to get into it. So.
But he's happy he's there.
Yeah, needed him.
Yeah, of course. Dude, if he's able to be healthy and contribute, there's like
y'all forget
what he can do. Yeah, like as a player, like that hasn't really changed. It's just been such a tumultuous, like up and down, and this circumstance is taken away from this opportunity, and this circumstance is taking him off the field, and there's just been so much, and you forget, bro. He has been here for a long time, man. It's been a while.
He missed the UCLA opener and the FSU opener.
He's not missing the USC opener, though. And here's the deal.
He's not.
He has become a guy where fans are rooting for him.
Hell
he's gonna be. Man. He goes out there and he's gonna be a crowd favorite, which I can't wait. Like he's gonna go out there and hopefully
give him 7.
No, 22. Who's getting 7? You think?
We already got it.
We already got it.
Yeah, but I thought they were actually gonna give. No, they're just gonna put on the
chest.
Patch.
Yeah, he gets the patch.
Yeah,
patch boy.
Patch boy.
Yeah, patch boy.
But no, I think having 3 running backs like that, I think is a huge thing. Caden Drum's going to ease his way in there.
He's going to pop one, and then you got the Trey Holly situation where he can come in and play.
And what's the deal with that? Do we know?
Legal system is playing it out.
But I thought he was back with the team.
He's with the team. Same
I'm
thing
frozen,
with Toviano. Oh, look at that.
That's a crazy pose.
Got you in action, bro.
Is that an internet thing? Are we good? We're good. We're Gucci.
It's not great.
It's not great.
There he goes.
But we're back, maybe. Jared, you're gonna be the highlight right now. Let's talk this thing through. But yeah, I think the running back room has become. He's more confident in the running back room right now. I think those guys are. You may be nervous about the depth, but I think you're good. Great jersey. I think they're good as far as depth and experience goes. And so I don't think that's the least forward. So offense hasn't been really talked about, understandably so. You have the best offensive line in the country. You have a quarterback who's been there for a while, understands the offense. You got receivers that some have been there, some haven't, but they all seem like they have all of them have experience in college football. And so I think you're in a good spot that way. Defense obviously is the question mark on the defensive side, though.
Excited to see a little. Obviously, we talked about some of the off-field situations. Toviano in that same boat, but now they're working him in at the star position, where you talked about Stamps kind of solidifying himself as cornerback 1, which is something that you.
Who has solidified themselves as cornerback 2, though?
Are you ready for a name I'm about to say?
P.J. Woodland?
Not yet.
Okay, but who is it now?
Say Ryan.
Oh, yeah, duh, we knew that.
But they want, from sources,
Right.
they want P.J. Woodland or Zy Alexander to be able to get healthy and move Sage Ryan back to safety. But as of now, he is running with the ones as Ashton Stamps and Sage Ryan as cornerback 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious progression of this thing, right? If we all had it how you wanted it to start the year, I think it would literally probably be Stamps and Zy Alexander on the other side. He's not healthy yet. He's got a little ways to go, and he's still getting there. But I think it would suit this team best if you're able to get a healthy Zy and or a progressed PJ, if you will, slide him in as another corner or them in as the other corner, and then you're able to kind of get Sage off of that spot, move him back into the safety spot and kind of let him play there. I think that would serve this defense best. It's just not what you have out the chute right now.
Yeah.
But the quicker you can get to that, I think the more it'll help that defense.
And that's what always comes back to unfortunate, I guess, in some sense of the word, where you're playing USC week 1, where you have athletes everywhere and you're still not solidified at your cornerback spot.
Well, I don't think that really matters. I mean, think about it.
Well, no, in a perfect world, like you said, you'd have Zy Alexander.
Yeah, but I don't really think that matters. You know why I don't think it matters in that sense is
he's done it before.
Well, no. Think about this. USC, like right now, LSU is about to start their USC prep.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, USC is about to start their LSU prep. When they think about who am I going to attack in that secondary, or who am I not going to attack in that secondary, I should say, who's the answer?
Nobody.
Fucking nobody. That's my point. So I don't really think it matters. Like, you don't have anyone singled out. You feel like nobody scares me. We could do what we want where we want. And I think by the time you go through a whole game, it's not going to really matter. They're not going to be the ones to have that figured out yet because nobody back there is so proven that you're like, let me stay away from them. So I think early on, just in this USC game, I don't really think it truly matters. I think you need to have all those guys kind of going in there.
Ready to get in there.
At any time. And I think as the season progresses, that will become a problem because teams will start to see who you have and what you don't have and what they can and or can't do, and let's start moving towards it.
Yeah.
USC's not going to have a chance to do that from the start.
And here is Brian Kelly talking about the USC practice schedule from his presser over the weekend.
Tuesday. We'll begin exchanging teams to give us a look at USC on Tuesday and kind of duplicate 2 weeks in a row of a game week preparation. So we'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday into a kind of a game bench control situation next week and then do it again. So, kind of back-to-back weeks, if you will. So if you think of it, next week is kind of the off week that you would normally have, your bye week, where you would do a little work on your opponent, and then leading into the game week.
I think that's what we all anticipated.
Yeah.
They were going to start preparing for the game, for USC 2 weeks before the actual game.
Yeah.
And, I'm looking forward to seeing these. It's a big question mark, but it's exciting at the same time because if you're in that cornerback room, you should be excited because everybody's going to get an opportunity to be out there. And if you're good enough, which a lot of these guys are talented, they're all talented enough to play well. Hey, if I can do what I need to do and I can do all the right things and I can play my ass off, I'm going to be able to get a lot more run in the secondary because you don't have Patrick Petersons or Tyler. You don't have the solidified All-Americans already out there.
They're coming.
So it just you do. They are coming. And some of these guys that are on the roster now may end up being All-Americans when they're juniors or seniors and they're ready to go, right? Another one of those guys who may be an All-American because the guy who's coaching the cornerbacks is very good at coaching them and has coached up a lot of All-Americans is the recruit that we got that we flipped from Texas, Cade Phillips, right? Everybody's talking about everybody watch out for Texas and A&M and all this money that they got. True, no doubt. But everybody's assuming that LSU's not going to be able to go out and get some of these guys. I think the coaching staff has proven that they are able to go out and do that, right? You may not be able to drop as much money as everybody else, but you're gonna make your hay, and you're gonna separate yourself by being able to evaluate these guys and to be able to create the relationship and still pay them, right? Still give them the NIL stuff. It may not be quite as much, but the relationship part may
Still
kind
matters.
matters, right? And so when I talk about the evaluating part, right, Cade Phillips, he's a 4-star cornerback. Everybody should be excited about him coming. He's basically a 6'1", 185-pound cornerback. That's a big cornerback, right? Especially going into your senior year of high school. Big cornerback. He started out last year as the 164th overall prospect, number 18 cornerback in the 2025 class. Since then, in camps and recent evaluations, On 3 has him as a 65 overall recruit and number 7 cornerback. In my mind, that's a guy that is going to continue to fly up. Like, he's a guy that you look up in the middle of the football season after a senior year, like, damn, this guy is one of the elite guys. I'm not saying he's going to get up to a 5-star level, but he's going to be a guy that's going to be, all right, this guy is moving up the recruiting rankings, which rankings don't mean everything, but it looks good when you have a number 1, number 2, or number 3 recruiting class in the country.
Right. I'm about to say, and we always speak about Corey Raymond's ability to recruit. This kid said something that's pretty special and something that I've kind of harped on for a while. But he also added, he goes, I feel like I can really be developed into something big. And being able to be coached by Coach Raymond is really important to me. To be coached by him, right? Not to be recruited and say, I'm just a star, I'll go do it because I'm that good. To be coached by Corey Raymond is what's important to him. And that's what's been important to a lot of these guys. And that's why you see a lot of these guys that have left here that have become something big and or not. What doesn't really matter. They all love Coach Raymond for the coach that he is, for his ability to develop and his ability to do what he's done and help them through their career. That is his fastball.
Yeah.
He just happens to have a really good breaking ball, which is his recruiting ability as well.
Right.
And this is a Corey Raymond special in terms of size and like elite. What he looks for in a corner, obviously 6'1", but 80-inch wingspan and 10-inch hands, and he runs track. He's all of the things that kind of where you see P.J. Woodland of. That's the brand of corner that Corey Raymond goes after, long, lanky, and can 20. Go. And so that's what you're going to start seeing at LSU again, because this is what Corey Raymond does and does well for all the people that didn't think he did.
Well, and here's the other thing that he does well, right, is he evaluates future talent. This guy's good now, but this is what he's going to be like in 2 years.
Rashard Robinson.
Right? The other guy that's making his commitment this weekend from Ruston, Louisiana, Aiden Anding, right? He's
Stud.
a 3-star. Everybody's, he's a 3-star. He's making his commitment between Arkansas, LSU, and Texas, right? Okay, Arkansas, you say, it's Arkansas, SEC, whatever. But Texas, if Texas is on you,
this is the battle that's going to happen for the next 10
LSU and
years.
Texas is going to be a big battle, which I love that, right? This guy's from Louisiana, but this is another guy, look, he's smaller, right? But I'd imagine he's going to gain some weight. He's going to get bigger. He's going to get more athletic. But this is a guy, another Corey Raymond special. Let me get this guy. He shows me something on the field as far as pure instincts and talent goes. And if he can already do that now at this size, wait till he gets bigger. And to me, that's another thing that he does really well is he evaluate future talent. So this guy's supposed to be committing over the weekend, and it seems like he is.
This is also he's only played football for 2 years,
right?
And this is a guy that I would imagine LSU has highlighted, and a lot of people are making because you just flipped a corner from Texas that you feel like Aiden Anding might be going to Texas. This is one of those where, like J-Bitch said, where you still have Jabari Antoine still out there, and it's been all quiet on the Western Front. But that doesn't mean they're not working. Aiden Anding is one of those guys that they were on late, but now that you're starting to see, this is when LSU turns up the heat, and it becomes almost impossible to say no.
Yeah, no doubt, right? And I think it's we're in a good spot. I think everybody just needs to take up a deep breath and just let him do his thing, and him as far as Corey Raymond, like let him. I don't understand where this negative, because he left, are you sour that he left? Or are you sour because, he got fired from Florida, so he's not as good? I think there's a lot of other things that happen.
Well, the hate was directed at the wrong thing. Like, don't take it as Corey Raymond can't do the job anymore. Take it as it's hard to recruit to Florida. Now put him at the boot and see what happens. And he's pulling in Patrick Peterson to come in to help you recruit.
I don't think that's necessarily true, man. You got to understand where the current state of the current program is, right? LSU's not deep right now, right? Why? Because half the damn team left, 3 years ago? And they didn't have everything. It takes time to build it back up. I just gave you guys what I've been hearing that recruits are saying. This is right now, I don't care how we see it, what we think of it, what the stadium looks like every day, what the practice facility looks like. Them kids don't give a shit about that right now. Why? Because every team in the country has that, right? They are not looking at LSU like, it's the in-state school, of course I'm going to go. You build it and you make it a program that is highly successful, that is when kids come. And they, unfortunately, right now, don't see LSU as the top of the absolute top right now. They see you up there, but they don't see you as the top of the absolute top. Much like they didn't see Florida as that right now.
Right.
When Florida was at the top of it, they were number one in recruiting every day. They were getting the Percy Harvins in there. They were getting the Tim Tebow's in there. Why? Because they were doing it at that time.
Aaron Hernandez.
That's what they were doing. So that you have to understand that that's where this thing is right now, and that's okay. You have to build that shit back. You ain't going to build it in 1 year. So him going to Florida for 1 or 2 years and they either lost and or didn't get good that ain't going to do it. That's not how you build something. He's back here to build on what he was able to do before and to continue doing what he's doing, which I fully expect him to do, especially with the staff that they've put in place right now. But that shit doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't happen in 1 year.
No. And you're seeing it track. Yeah. And I think that's the most important thing. If you didn't see it going in any different direction, an issue, right? You're seeing the same thing with defensive line, right? You're getting defensive line commitments. You're getting these guys to develop. You're going to see this defense the next 2 or 3 years is going to be
salty.
Have you seen the linebacker class they have coming in next year? They have 3 linebackers. I don't know what Keelan Moses runs in the 100, but the other 2 guys run one. Charles Ross runs a 10.36 100-meter dash. He's a linebacker. The other one, Jaden Breaker, runs a sub-11 100-meter dash as a linebacker. 6'3", 212 pounds.
Getting back to that old LSU football.
Like, they are bringing some athletes in that spot. And I think it's going to be, over the next, you're going to see that defense be the defense. And I think Brian Kelly understood that. And brought all these guys back, understand where he needs to recruit, understand the guys they need to bring in, and he's doing that. So, takes time. This is a big year for him, no doubt.
And I do, as much as Brian Kelly has put on himself on this with the year 3 comps and everything, he's like, give me year 3, wait till year 3. Brother, give me year 6. With what they're building and the staff that he's put together and the recruiting classes that are coming in, LSU is doing the thing that you wanted to see them do forever, which is take the state, take the bull by the haunches, and hump it into submission. Because now you're getting all of the players, and you're about, like, if you're doing recruiting battles with Texas, now that Alabama has kind of fallen a little bit just because the Nick Saban factor, that has to weigh, and I think DeBoer's a good coach. But you now have a different rival with, you could go into Texas and take a couple of recruits. Now they're going head-to-head, and you're starting to see LSU win some of these battles, and not only win these battles, but not let other teams into the state of Louisiana and get the guys that you absolutely have to lock up.
Yeah, and they're doing that.
They're about to be a force.
And they're bringing in the big-time super recruits from other places.
Yeah. DJ Pickett.
A la DJ Pickett. Yeah. A la Bryce Underwood. Yeah. Just throw a couple of them in there.
You always got a cherry pick.
And look, when you say Louisiana, I count, like, Houston as an extension too, right? You got a lot of Louisiana people, right, from Louisiana living in Houston.
You really got to think, honestly, like anything that's like a 2.5 to 3.5 hour drive, something that's easy that you can get down there on a day and be right back out, that's really what you're talking about in your, I guess, Louisiana fence, if you will. So you can literally go to to parts of Mississippi, parts of close to Alabama, or parts of Alabama, close to parts of Florida. Like those areas you want to be able to keep here because when you go sit down with a family and they thinking like, oh, this team's in my house. Well, if I want to go see my baby boy play, it's only a 3-hour drive. I can get up there. I ain't got to fly across the country.
I ain't got to
to drive 12 hours to get there. That's, in my mind, that's what I think the fence is. Wherever that is in that area, that's what you want to be able to try to keep here.
Yep.
Pipelines.
I'm looking through some of these notes, and we talk about a little bit about the offense. Now, this is gonna be the last thing I want to say, and then we can talk a little NFL before we shut this thing down. But ESPN, what?
Ugh.
I love the NFL, dude.
I know you do. It's crazy.
I love the NFL. ESPN betting analyst explains why Garrett Nussmeier is a sleeper Heisman Trophy. Have you put a future in for him?
I do have a future in. I'm
22
wondering
to
if
1.
these odds. Okay, so I have it.
He's the 8th best odds to win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, I thought that's a little high.
22 to 1. Obviously you look at offenses, you look at what Jaden Daniels did in the offense, and the guy who is
5 to win 75. I need to up those numbers.
the guys who are talking about this look at more than just the offense last year was good, so it's going to be good again this year. They look at the schedule, look at matchups, and so he is confident. I mean, he's not saying he's going to win the Heisman, but it's a nice sleeper pick. 8th best odds is higher than I thought it would be.
Me too.
It means
I wish it were lower.
Vegas is pretty high on him.
Well, it's hard to ignore LSU at the quarterback position, obviously, since 2019, and then you have 2023. It's
but
like,
I also think
it's
I also think it's funny that you see that. Like, you can't in no way in hell can you really, in my mind, believe that, okay, if they could possibly be this defense, which is, I think, also the betting pros as opposed to, I guess, the analytical pros are looking at this a little different, but it's crazy to me that they see it like that. They see LSU as a 9-10 win possible team, but the betting pros are like, man, I don't think they have a shot to make the playoffs. Really?
Right.
How?
That doesn't make any
12
sense.
to 10. That doesn't make any sense. So they kind of see a little different. I'm right there kind of with the betting pros. I try to call it as right down the middle as I can, and there's a lot of things that need to sync up, but shit, you can really kind of call it that for anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's kind of how I see it.
I'm with you. All right. Let's get to Lloyd's favorite league. No Fun League.
The No Fun League. I will say the San Francisco Turf looked great yesterday.
I'm fired up. I really am fired up about the season. You know why? I know the Chiefs are like favorites to win.
Let's 575 if you want to grab them now.
I don't think they're going to three-peat, but they are the favorites to three-peat. I understand that. I know people are sick of them, but I enjoy watching good football, and that's good football. It's entertaining football. Xavier Worthy being on that team makes it a whole different animal. They got a guy that can take the top off the defense, just like Tyreek Hill did. And so that's a scary thought.
You want to grab the Saints at plus 10,000 to win the Super Bowl in New Orleans?
Hey, look, that'd be a good one to put your $5 on.
That I would never.
$5.
I had a guy over the weekend really betting with me on that. I'm like, bro, don't do that to you.
It's a waste of $5.
$5.
But I will tell you, it's not a bad. I think it's like what is it, 100 to win 10,000? It's a good bet.
That's what I mean. Like,
that's a good bet.
5 to win 500 does sound good.
That's my point. Like, it's like
you're not winning it, but it's a good bet.
Yeah, right.
I'll do $1.
Listen, if the Saints make the playoffs this year, I think that's a win. I think there is a path. It's all about the offensive line in my mind. I think Derek Carr is going to be good enough at the quarterback position. I think the offensive scheme is going to be good enough. It's all about the offensive line in my mind. The defense is going to be fine.
It's all about a side of the offensive line.
Well, you got a rookie on the left side, and then you got a guy on the right side who's non-existent. He's the biggest non-existent person I've ever seen in my life. 6'7", 350 pounds, and he might as well just not be on the field.
Man can back up with the best of them.
The only way you see him is because his big ass is in front of the quarterback.
Screen.
He's the one sacking the quarterback.
Would you say that to his face?
I'm laughing at y'all.
Oh, not because he's a mean person. It seems like, and he's a bigger than me, and he would squish me. And he's better. He's a better offensive tackle than I could ever be.
Well,
no doubt. No doubt.
Sure?
Offensive tackle, 100%.
Do you think you get to the quarterback on him?
No.
Do you think you could, Lloyd?
Not me, but if I were y'all, yeah.
I could not get to the no, coach. We ain't getting to the quarterback on him. Here, that brings up. There's a lot of, you see a lot on TV, and you see a lot of people evaluating guys. I'm not saying this. I'm not calling you out because I know you're joking, but like a lot.
I believe in y'all.
A lot of people go out there and just think that they can do something at an average rate an NFL guy can do, or an MLB guy. Or listen to me. The reason why it looks so easy for these guys is because they're the elite of the elite. Like, the simplest tasks or the things that look the simplest for them are not very easy. It's very hard to do. And it's just, when people say that, I just laugh. It's like, all right, dude, like, you think you could run, you think you could gain 10 yards in an NFL game? And guys like, yeah, no doubt.
This is why pros versus Joes existed.
Like, I don't care if you have the best offensive line in the history of the NFL. If you ain't hitting the hole hard enough, fast enough, that hole is going to close up pretty quick and you ain't getting anywhere. And you damn sure ain't breaking a tackle. The guy touches you, you're down. No doubt, right? And that's just because these guys are the elite of the elite. Like, it's like you're playing against the best high school team in the country or the best college, SEC team. You're playing against an NFL football team. So I want to get that out there because a lot of people say that, especially because it's easy access to like watching someone evaluate, oh, this is what they did wrong. It's like, yeah, dude, but they're going up against some really good people, really good talent. But anyway, back to NFL. You don't have a thought on that?
No, I just think people forget what the freak shows look like and kind of what it's like standing next to them and then what they do every day and how they do it every day and the tricks of the trade they know that you don't know anything about. No, I just think it's funny. It just makes me laugh. I don't really like. There's not much I can say to it.
Like people like in the stands. Oh yeah, why didn't you swing at that? Why didn't you hit? How do you swing and miss at that? Well, because the guy's throwing 100.
It's not easy.
The guy's throwing 95 and the ball looks like it's doing this. Like
or when he's throwing 95 to 98, and you're like, man, that breaking ball he's throwing 6 times in a row. I think I'm gonna get that.
Here's
you
John
get the
Breakus.
95 down the middle, and people are like, "Why you didn't swing?"
Oh, you're bringing the John Breakus back.
This is what it looks like.
That's what Lloyd would look like.
Look at that. He put the pad there. He didn't even hit the pad.
He didn't have to drive enough far back.
I mean, I think people forget. Like, it doesn't matter how fast you're coming off the ball. This guy is 325 pounds.
Some strong humans.
And he can probably bench press 600 pounds. Like,
don't let him put his hand on you. Some
bro,
strong humans.
He touches you, you're done. One hand, you're done. But anyway, back to the NFL. Saints, plus 10,000. I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl. It would be amazing.
In New Orleans.
Mardi Gras. In New Orleans and Super Bowl.
Lil Wayne. Carter 7.
Carter 6.
Carter 6.
Fix before the 6 came out. It's all right.
He's been dominating on features lately. He's back.
Makes me feel good about it.
It
Eminem's
does.
album, Fire.
Very
good. Have you listened to it?
I've not heard it yet. No.
You gotta listen to it in order though. It's a story.
And
well,
if you would,
I'm a big storybook guy. I like to listen to albums in order. I don't
really
do the random.
Yeah.
If I'm listening to an album, I'm listening to it in order. I don't do the.
But this one like really has to be because like it's.
No,
like,
I do every album, even if they don't intend to do it that way. That's how I listen to them all.
And
because I look at it this way, the artist put it out this way for a reason. He probably wants you to listen to it that way.
Right.
And if you listen to it in reverse, it tells it from the other side. It's Slim Shady story. It's actually very interesting.
Oh really?
Yeah. So if you do it from reverse, the 1 through 17 is Eminem's story. 17 through 1 is told from Slim Shady's perspective.
Oh, that's cool.
So he did like 4 albums in one.
I mean, he's a genius.
He is.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, back to NFL.
Love him.
The reason why I like the NFL, so I got on the Chiefs thing because like you know what the Chiefs are, but everyone else there's so many questions that are happening. You knew this point was coming, right? Like you had a big turnover from the OG quarterbacks and offenses and all these types of things with Peyton and Tom and all these guys leaving. Aaron Rodgers is the last one of that group still playing. He's got a few, maybe 1 or 2 years left, however much it's going to be. But after him, you have all these young guys. Obviously, Mahomes, you have Lamar, you have Josh Allen. those guys,
Joe Burrow, Jordan Love.
Joe Burrow, those guys are the
Caleb
next
Williams.
generation. Jordan Love is like the generation right behind him, right? It's the newest one. Hey, you had a really good year. You got paid. Let's see what you can do. And now you bring in all these other rookies. You have now you have J.J. McCarthy got hurt, but you have potentially 5 rookie quarterbacks starting this year. And it just it makes it fun. Nobody thought Houston was going to be the way they are. Caleb Stroud,
CJ
Stroud. So you did it. I did what you do.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud is a baller, right? And he turned them into a potential Super Bowl team. And then they went out there and said, hey, we got you. We know that you're a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So we're going to go out and we're going to give you all the talent you need to go bring us a Super Bowl. And so to me, it just makes it so much fun. The NFL to me has the most parity it's had in a really long time. That's what I believe.
Texans minus 110 to win the division.
Yeah,
I'll take that. After I saw
Good bet. Don't sleep on the Colts.
Well, look, the Colts. As I'm saying, you
Anthony
have,
Richardson.
and he's basically a
Shane
rookie.
Steichen. Don't sleep
Yeah,
on him.
he's basically a rookie. He didn't play that much. He got hurt. So like, you have all this new talent in the NFL and the quarterback, but like high level talent, not like Josh Rosen and Brandon
Sam
Whedon.
Darnold.
Guys who like
Starter.
guys who are like this guy's a freak. Anthony Richardson's a freak, right? Like
Joe Milton.
And he's no. But he showed you last year, like Anthony Richards showed you last year. I have the ability to. I know I didn't show you great stuff at Florida, but look what I did in the NFL. Like, I don't know. To me, that it makes it fun. I love the NFL. What's the deal? What's happening in Pittsburgh?
I don't think much is happening.
Is Russell going to be the
I think
starter?
Russell's starting.
How was this preseason game? I didn't get to watch him.
Not great. But it's preseason. I don't think the offensive line was great. I don't think they played great up front. I just think I actually had this conversation earlier. I had this conversation earlier with my wife. If you think about
how many times do y'all have to do that?
Not many. Honestly, not that many. If you think about that situation, I got a 35 or 36-year-old quarterback who's basically here for free. I got a young dude that if he can play, we could possibly sign him again and keep him here for a long time. But it's in a situation of if I play the young dude first and he bombs and it's not good, and then I play the old dude after, we got nothing done because chances are we won't be good and we're right back in the quarterback market again next year. It's not really what the hell we want. There's 2 guys that's going to exit the building. But let's just say if I put the older dude out there first and he doesn't do well. Say if we get to a point where we're even 2-6 and we're not good. We then sit him. We play the other guy. He even gives us a smoking chance at getting close to maybe getting into the playoffs. Well, then you know who the player, you know your quarterback is next year and moving forward. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't, if he can't do it either, then you move on. But if you play the other one first, I feel like you probably lose them both, right? Like we can sit here and say every day, like, Russell's a consummate pro. He's been in the league forever. He's done this forever. I don't care who he is. If that guy's sitting there holding a clipboard to start the year, his morale's going to be down.
No doubt.
And you're probably not going to get the best of him. And then when he comes in, you're probably going to get him trying to do a little too much, right? Like that's more of likely to happen than him just being, the Terminator and coming in and none of what happened before affects who he is now. If he can't do it, he's riding his way out. And you play the other guy. I think if you start the other guy first with both of them being healthy, you're losing both of them early on in the year anyway. Yeah. And then you're right back where you were to start the year. That's not really where you want to be. That's not why you signed them both. You really wanted to get a chance to see both, but that's not why you signed them both. So I think that's kind of where you're at.
Dangerwich.
You think Joe Burrow stays healthy?
Comeback player of the year.
I agree.
I hope he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, he's comeback player of the year. Yeah.
Well, Rodgers.
The better question is when is he going to kick down
DeMar Hamlin,
Mike Davis's office and say, hey, man, can just go ahead and give my boy his contract so we can get him out here? I need him out here. Jamar, Chase. Mm-hmm. Hey, just can't do something. I need him out here.
And the owners even come out and said, like, we'll do whatever it takes to sign Jamar Chase. So go ahead and do that then.
You can imagine that they're gonna keep Jamar and Joe together as long as they can keep
them together. Joe's deal doesn't look too bad. Same thing with Carr. He's the 18th highest paid quarterback in the league, and it plays
dude.
like it, but at least you didn't really actually break the bank to get him.
I mean, you
But
kind of
they
did, but
knew
it
that.
shows you where the inflation is in
Yeah.
that position. It's crazy.
They like.
I'd rather be the Saints than the
Listen to me.
Cowboys.
Well, listen to me. Me too, right? Like, these teams are signing these guys to long-term deals, but they're also not signing it based off of that 1 year. They're looking at it based off, okay, what has the market done over the last couple, 2-3 years, and what do we think it's going to do in the next 2 or 3, 4 years? And so, okay, we're going to give it. Yeah, it's going to look high now, but hey, this guy's going to be a free agent next year. This guy, this guy, this guy. So now all of a sudden, the money that looks great is going to be surpassed in the next 2 years, and you're not going to have. You're going to be probably valued at what you should be valued at, right? And so,
The market corrects itself.
no doubt, the market is the market. Like, it's going to continue to evolve over time. Quarterback market's always going to be sky high, always. Especially when these young guys come in, they do really well early on now.
Pat Mahomes is on a deal.
He was on a deal when they signed him.
Uh-huh.
They knew that when they signed him.
Yeah,
Even though the number was outrageous, they knew that when they signed him.
yep. Because he sets
Like
the
that,
market.
even at that point, he was still on a deal. Yeah.
Tua got new teeth.
Who?
Tua.
Tua got new teeth, got confident, came out talking about Flores too.
They did. Just goes to show you too that there's like different personalities that mesh well together, and sometimes that that in your ass, hard head, just hard nose, like just don't work for some people. Doesn't matter how you look at it, just doesn't work for some people. And Flores probably thought it did, knowing who his college coach was, but it obviously didn't go that way behind the curtain a little bit, and it's interesting seeing some of that stuff.
And that's what I think is maybe a little bit misconstrued about Saban. Like, he can do both. Like, he can be buddy-buddy with you and kind of be your friend a little bit.
I think he grew into that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's where he was to start. I think he grew into that over the years, and that's something shit takes years.
Yeah.
It's different, man. Like, that's very different.
No doubt. I mean, it's a hard
line to walk
because you have these guys that you want to get them to buy in, right? But you also have these guys who are grown men and making all this money, and it's hard if they're not bought in from day one. It's hard to get them that way, especially if they're one of the guys who are influential on the team, right? So it's a hard thing. And look, Tua's in a good spot.
I don't think you could have more of a polar opposite from however Flores was to Mike McDaniel, who was on McAfee, and the Chat GPT, the AI of the YouTube was curated the chat, and they're like, "What substance is Mike McDaniel on?" He's like, "I'm sober." It's like the way that he talks, because he does have the inflection of his words and how he chooses to speak, very thoughtful, very slow, in terms of like he's always picking his words
He's a smart
wisely.
guy.
Yeah, of course. He went to Yale.
Yeah.
And an alcoholic, too.
He was an alcoholic.
Did it
Was.
the
They don't
McDaniel
do it
way,
anymore,
cold
yeah.
turkey.
Yeah.
Was a vapor. No
anymore.
longer.
Not anymore.
But I just think that's interesting. Where Tua, a guy that plays the ukulele from the islands, where it's like, dude, you don't have to. I don't respond to this behavior. And McDaniel's like, dude, come sit down with me.
Let me show you how we're gonna be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this makes sense, right?
No doubt.
Cool.
No doubt. And Tua did play for Saban, so I think you imagine you could probably navigate.
I
both.
still can't believe Saban did that. Jalen Hurts, you're gonna have to sit down, buddy.
It worked out.
It did, didn't it?
It worked out. Is there a guy y'all are excited to see this year?
Taysom
A rookie?
Hill.
I am excited to see Taysom.
Across the league,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Kind of seen some of it. I just want to see how it goes. I really want to see Caleb Williams play this year.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, dude, he looks really
like
good.
I said, Nate, like they had no business getting the first pick anyway, and then they had the 9th pick as well, and then they added Keenan Allen as well, and they got a $100 million receiver as well, and they got an established tight end as well, and that defense is nasty.
Was it Jalen Johnson?
Jalen Johnson, you got the end and Sweat. Man, the defense is really good, and they were a good team last year. Like, if there is a situation to go into as a rookie quarterback, fuck.
Who's their running back?
They got your boy.
Yeah.
DeAndre.
Oh, they
Swift
get
is there
Swift.
now.
They did get Swift.
Like, that's my point. Like,
Herbert.
they have Khalil Herbert as the backup. DeAndre Swift is like they have
Pieces.
so much more than any rookie quarterback, much less the number 1 overall pick is supposed to be.
Andrew
going
Luck
into.
situation.
Yeah. And if people forgot about that, it was literally we got Peyton and then Peyton gets hurt and we had Curtis Painter as the quarterback all year, which was never supposed to happen.
Yeah,
and that's how they fell into Andrew Luck. That was not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
That team was geared to win with Peyton. Peyton gets hurt. Enter
And you bring
Curtis
in
Painter.
Peyton.
Hillis.
No, Peyton reincarnated. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, but
So like that, like that's what you're looking at. I think this is an even better situation in that. So
Did you do the same thing on the first episode of Hard Knocks when they started going through the roster? Like, holy shit!
No, I knew it was that.
Yeah,
That's why I was
just
like,
reminded me. I was like, oh my
go look
god!
at, if you want to see something crazy, go look at what DJ Moore's numbers were last year.
it's the best year of his career. They had
And they
4
didn't-
different quarterbacks in it.
Exactly.
Like the guy's been a dog ever since he's gotten into the league, and you got to remember too that was year 1 on a brand new team. So he's learning a new system. He's got 4 different quarterbacks in, and the guy still had his best year of his career. So he's on the roster. I mean, like they have so many pieces there, and for what Caleb does, it's not like he's literally just a system pocket. I can't move. Like there is so much there to just
He's
like bro,
generational.
I need to see what this looks like with this kind of squad.
Yeah.
It's the only thing. Like it's
The
I'm
only
really
question mark
interested to
I
see
would
that.
have would be the O-line, right? Are they going to be able to like protect him enough to be able to let him get the balls to those guys? But they have probably a top 5 receiving core.
Yeah,
in
but
the league.
but of course there's a question. Like it's not going to be perfect. I don't expect them to be 12-5. But I guess my point to it is usually when the O-line sucks, you probably don't have a lot of weapons on the outside that are good at getting open in one-on-ones, a la Carolina right now. Which is why I
gotta
think
be kicking
a lot of what's
themselves.
going on with Bryce Young is it's based off of what they got going on around him.
Yeah.
But like they got 3 dudes when it comes to getting open. 2 of them that have been nothing but proven in the league to doing it, and you add in a third who was probably the best in yak in college football last year. Go look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Right? That's the third one you're adding into the group. You're like, man, shit, if they can get open and we got a good tight end who's able to get open, there's so much there. We got to receive him back out of the backfield. Bro, we ain't got to be great up front. He's good enough improvising, and these guys are good enough at getting open. There's a good chance it's still going to work.
Well, I think you've seen in preseason, like he is very elusive as a quarterback.
Yeah,
Like,
he
he is Pat Mahomes.
That shit translates.
Yeah.
And being able to move around. He's not going to run for a whole bunch of yards, but he can, for some reason, just can't get him down. He's quick. He anticipates where it's coming. He understands. He's smart. He understands where the blitz is coming from. And he's already shown that in preseason football. Preseason, I know that. But, like,
They played starters.
they're trying to start. They're trying to earn a spot on their team, and these guys are trying to get ready for the season too. Like they're trying to get him. They're not just letting him run around for free. And he's made some crazy plays already, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how he develops.
Like if you watched him play in that last preseason game, people talk about the spin move throw that he had to roam down the sideline. I personally think the other play was more impressive. I think him leaving the
scramble?
pocket that way, straight up face to face with the defender, hesitating, hit him with the hesi, keeps rolling, throws an absolute dart in the back of the end zone that Rome's just standing on the outside of the end
It's
zone.
on the wrong side.
That's not going to happen during the year. Like, and he thought he was just in
thought
that
he
thing,
was
like,
in.
hey, oh shit. So,
My bad.
So like I thought that play was even better because it's not a stretched out. Like he threw a dot right there, and I'm like, bro,
Oh, my feet are on the wrong.
yeah,
God
that's,
damn it.
Yeah,
that's
wrong
different
line.
right
Yeah,
there.
wrong.
Because
Shit.
it reminded me of the throw he made the week before when he was rolling out to his right and he threw a dart down there. I don't remember who it was. I'm like, man, that's different. That's a different. It's people think. I think personally, just me. People think it's hard to go to your non-throwing arm when you're rolling. I think it's harder to go to the other way because unless you're attacking the line already, like it's a proven
And get square.
rollout, you got a chance to get square. When you're literally just sprinting sideways, you never get squared. So that's
Right.
all arm strength
Yeah.
to be able to make that throw. Whereas when you're going to your non, you know I got to be able to get square. And a lot of these guys have done so well when it comes to squaring it up and being able to use their lower half when they're going the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to go the other way because you can pick up more speed. You don't really have to square your shoulders and you can just kind of throw the ball, especially when you have someone chasing you. Those throws are impressive, man.
Yeah.
Not
It's-
to continue the Caleb Williams Glaze session, but that touchdown that he ran in where he manipulated the entire defense, and then he's like, I'm going to walk in with the offensive line right in front of me. It's like, oh, he's playing at kind of a different level than everybody else right now.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't look like a rookie. And that'll
Yeah.
be rookie moment.
And people dislike him because he's a little weird.
He's a little
does
weird.
a little quirky stuff. But look, that's him.
Wheezy.
He's able to go. He's able to do what and he performs on the field, and that's the only thing that matters. And that's the only thing the Bears give a shit about. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to like look forward to. I am looking forward to him, But the way they utilize Taysom, obviously that's kind of a homer pick. But to me, it's going to be interesting and it's going to be a fun thing to watch. I also selfishly am hoping that Keon Coleman has a monster year because I want to see him in his interviews. And to me, it's entertaining.
Once again, I think that's another one where he's going to have a good year as long as there's health in it because of what you have at the quarterback spot.
Yeah.
I think he will be able to elevate how he plays the game. I find it hard to believe that he'll be out there and not be a contributing factor to what they do in Buffalo. They've been able to kind of develop some guys and move them along. I'll be interested to see what he does this year too.
Agreed. It's week 0, boys. We're here.
It is week 0.
We're gonna have football that
Saints
football in
plus
Ireland this week.
425 to win the division.
Who's the favorite?
Who do you
Got to
think?
be Atlanta, right?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's got to be.
Minus 130.
Oh,
It's got to be. That's a big minus, right?
yeah, that is a big minus.
That's a big favorite.
Chiefs minus 260.
Yeah.
So Chiefs only have double the I guess the prediction of winning their division over, and that division is not great either.
No.
Buffalo
Like,
plus
being
180.
being
Plus
a
what?
180.
180, being a minus 130 that's big. That's a
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah,
advantage.
they're favored. I mean, that's like a favorite.
That's a real favorite. Yeah.
God, I'm so happy football's here. It just
It's
makes
crazy. It sneaks up on you a little bit.
We knew it was coming. After this next week, there's going to be so much energy around Baton Rouge, Louisiana, because the LSU game on Sunday, and like everybody's going to Vegas.
Not allowed.
I can't wait. All right. You want to get to the Seggies? You have a mistake of the day, Lloyd?
I do.
Mistake of the day is brought to you by our friends at Doe's Place.
Did you go to Doe's not that long ago?
I went for dinner, yeah.
Was that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. It was fire, as always.
Crushed it.
Tamales,
Crushed it.
steak,
Smashed
fire
it.
steak.
This mistake of the day is brought to you by Doe's Place. Don't do this, ladies and gentlemen. Old school mistake of the day. Brought to you by Doe's Place. Gosder Cherilus, former NFL offensive lineman and Boston College football star, is accused of urinating on another passenger on a Delta Airlines flight. He walked up to an elderly woman, exposed himself, and emptied his entire bladder. Former first-round pick, accused of urinating on Delta Airlines flight. I feel like the accused is very much.
I mean,
It happened.
I mean, it has to be like, how can you? That's a pretty obvious thing, right? Like, it can't be accused. Like, you did it, right? Like, people had to have some video evidence.
I'm not going to play the video. According to the police report, Cherilus appeared drunk when he arrived at Logan Airport.
okay.
Before the flight took off, he allegedly argued with another passenger over seating arrangements. Then, about an hour into the flight, investigators said he walked up to an elderly woman, exposed himself, and emptied his entire bladder for approximately 20 seconds. Investigation is ongoing.
20 seconds.
Wow.
That's not that good of a pee.
What a
mistake of the day.
wild thing to do.
Could you imagine coming to and be like,
Listen to me.
dude.
I've been drunk.
Yeah, this weekend.
I've been drunk in my day. Not this weekend. I've been like really drunk in my, and never have I thought about
Never have I ever.
peeing
Anywhere besides the toilet?
or
Outside.
like yeah like
On somebody else.
someone like something like that, like peeing on somebody, peeing in my room,
Risky pee.
right? Like I've always known where I'm peeing. You know what I mean? Like
That's a good thing to know, you know.
I've heard stories of like guys pissing in the pantry because they just thought it was the bathroom. Like I've never been in that. I don't know.
Never been in that situation?
No.
The more you talk about it, the more it could happen. Like you start
mean,
bringing this thing to life.
I can understand the pantry thing, maybe.
Yeah.
But like just
Well,
getting up
if you
and-
really have to pee and you end up in the pantry, like, fuck, I'm lost.
yeah, but this guy obviously did on purpose.
Well, this is in public.
Yeah, on an old woman.
On an old woman.
Yes.
What a wild thing to do. Okay,
Mistake of the day?
that's a good mistake of the day. Curtain call brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners.
And
Me?
I'll lead it off. This is very low-hanging fruit, but not to not be mentioned. Congratulations, Jaden Daniel, named
Congratulations.
starting quarterback of the Washington Commanders this week.
Yep. Congratulations.
It's impressive. Good start right there.
He's had some flashes in
Good
preseason
start. He's
too.
looked well.
Yeah.
He's looked well.
He unlocked something in himself. It's crazy to
He
go.
has a quick release, dude. And he
Oh no, it
puts the ball in the
just has it now. Like when
Yeah.
you go from 2022 to 2023, It's like, oh, he figured it out.
Those
I
feet
don't
got
know.
real quiet when he got comfortable behind that line, and I think that has literally
Yep.
gotten him into a different spot in his game that he's probably never been.
And he's super confident in his throws. Like when he makes a decision,
I think that I don't think you don't just all of a sudden get the arm. So I think that's kind of always been there. But I think probably the back part of why he left ASU to the start of his career here at LSU, the feet were not as quiet, and he was not trusting that as much. And
Right.
once he started doing that again, it's turned into a different player. Though.
Yeah.
It's a different level.
Which is the reason why Joe Sloan is the offensive coordinator and getting quarterback recruits because of the development of that. You got one, Lloyd?
Curtain call, Trey Morgan. Finally.
Double A.
Double A.
About time. Let's get him up there, huh?
Listen, he has been killing it. He is tied over the week. I don't know if anything changed, but he was tied for the lead in all of minor league baseball on average.
371.
It was a close. It was close with
358.
it was close with 2 or 3 different guys, but yeah.
Unless he.
Oh, no, this is since being called up to the Bowling Green Hot Rods. He's batting 371.
So,
yeah,
and this is a
358
great
tied with another guy.
This is a great spot for him.
High
What?
Bowling Green.
Now. It used to be low A.
So far.
Bowling Green's a great place to hit. And he did what he needed to do there. More than what he needed to do there. I'm excited for him in Double A because this is going to be like the big test for him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to perform fine, do great there. But Double A, and it's a good time for him to go because it's August. It's hot as shit. Everybody's tired. Nobody really wants to. Everybody's just ready to get home, trying to get through
And
the
he's
season.
excited to be there.
And he got a little bit of a jolt. Hey, this is my third level I'm going to be at this year. I'm going to be energetic, and I'm going to go out and try to finish this season off strong. So he gets there at a good time, kind of understands Double A, going to start there in Double A. You'd imagine him keep going. But this is going to be a good challenge for him. This is when the pitcher starts to kind of develop. You start seeing a lot of talent start to kind of get unlocked in Double A.
You start seeing the misses from the mound go.
Yeah. And you're starting to see the a little bit more control with the breaking ball.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, a lot of electric shit. So it's going to be.
Electric shit's all over the minors right now, but the ability to make kind of everything look the same becomes a little more refined at this level. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my current call, the lowest hanging fruit is to college football.
Wow.
That's as low as it gets, Coach.
Coach, on the ground, I had to pick that thing
To
up
America.
I had to pick that thing up off the ground.
To me, waking up today, thank you, Lord.
It is college football season is here, finally.
To the calendar.
We have
time.
We have waited. We've had 2 months. This is a long 2 months, longer than I've anticipated this dead period of being. Obviously, LSU didn't make it to Omaha this year, so that last year really
extended our dead period.
Yeah, that year really helped us out. But we're about to get to one of the best times in sports when
October.
you go through football starts, so like everybody's just locked in on that, and then you're gonna get through that first month of football, and then you get the postseason baseball. It's just got a lot of things happening. Weather's gonna get a little bit cooler, which will be great. So that's my shout out. I know that's a cop out, but that is my curtain call. So
Little League World Series? Why can't you gamble on that?
dude, I don't know. I think it's my attention span on Little League World Series is like going away. Not that I don't love that those kids are getting to experience that, and I think it's awesome, and they've grown the hell out of it. I just, doesn't interest me anymore right now.
Oh, Bovado lets you bet on Little League World Series. Hell yeah.
Bovado you bet anything on Bovado,
That's dangerous.
no doubt.
This is on Reddit.
I got a.
Anyone know a place to find odds for this? I've looked all over. And somebody goes, 1-800-GAMBLER. Fucking stop, dude. They're children.
I got a text message saying, "Hey, one more major tournament before the U.S. Open tennis." He goes, "I was 71% in the last tournament." Of my
Who is
bets.
this?
Who do you think would send me that?
Renato.
No. Think
Bo.
about Bo.
Oh
He said,
God.
you gotta get. I was 71. I've been 71% in tennis this year. He goes, one more tournament before the U.S. Open.
Not taking any of those.
So and I told him, I said, every time
You
somebody
should
tells
dust
me,
off the app with some tennis.
every time somebody tells me how good they've been doing, I bet you go south. So you don't even want me to start betting.
The mush.
Not
Yeah, I'm
good.
the-
Not
I'm
good
the
for
mush.
piggybacking over here.
King of the mush.
King of the mush.
All right, that's all we got.
You taking LSU -6.5? Don't. Take USC. Do it for the culture.
I'm not even gonna say what I'm taking yet because
You're taking the over.
It's too early. What is the over?
What do you think it is?
52.5.
63.5.
Wow, a role reversal. Right on the nose, 63.5.
Let's go. No confidence in the defenses right now. There's unknown. A lot of unknown.
35-31 game. That's
Yeah,
I can
a
see
lot
it.
of unknown. A lot of unknown on the defensive side.
A lot of unknown in football. It hadn't happened yet,
It hadn't happened yet. Don't know.
but it will.
It's gonna happen.
Has
It's
to.
inevitable. It's
The calendar says so. It's gonna happen.
I can't wait.
Curtain call to the calendar.
I'm so excited. Curtain call to just the Mayans.
Yeah.
They created the calendar. Only up to 2012 though.
I don't know what happened.
That was when the world was supposed to end.
Maybe it did.
And then it was supposed to end again. When was the last time it was supposed to end?
2001.
No, after 2012. Wasn't there another doomsday deal?
2020.
2020,
Probably.
2021 maybe. We're here.
It did end in 2012 a little bit. LSU, Alabama.
We're resilient.
We are. We bounced back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough start to 2012, huh?
That was the worst. Outside of Lucy's. Going home.
It's the deadest I've ever seen New Orleans.
Because
you got to remember that was the same week that New Orleans lost to
The Niners?
The Niners.
whoever it was in the divisional round. Like it was.
And then
I thought I was there to have just the
Unbelievable time.
and it was the most
Well, you know, that
sad
wasn't-
I've seen the state of Louisiana.
Was it the Niners? It was.
I think it was. It was too early for the Vikings, so I think it was the Niners.
Because, yeah, it was the back and forth. Jimmy Graham scored the touchdown.
Alex Smith bootleg.
And then Alex Smith bootleg.
Yeah.
And then I was depressed for the LSU game because I had to go to the development league for Tampa in January, national championship week.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
watching the game.
I was in New Orleans.
That's in New Orleans. I'm watching the game from my hotel room. Like, damn, I am so depressed that I'm not there. And then I watched the game. I'm like, I'm so happy I'm not there. I would have been more depressed had I been there.
It was tough.
It's
Yeah.
brutal.
Second lowest time was the no
call?
PI. Yeah, the no call.
I was in the number on that.
I was in the thick of it.
I was in the
You were
Superdome.
there too?
That was a lot.
I wasn't in the game, no, but I was right there by at Truman's.
Yeah.
By Lucy's.
Yeah. I was in
Always.
the stadium, and it was the quietest I've ever seen the Superdome.
My brother brought his buddy.
And then nobody remembers this because the no call was the reason why they lost. Sebastian Janikowski kicked a 57-yarder to win the game.
Sebastian
I mean, not
Janikowski.
What am I talking about?
It was Greg the Legs Zerline.
Greg the Legs Airline. The new Sebastian Janikowski.
I feel like that's where I honestly feel like that's where the leg
Sebastian.
became more
I
of a
said
thing.
Sebastian because that's what I was calling him that year. I was like, this motherfucker Sebastian Janikowski kicked a 57-yarder because before anybody was kicking 60 yards, it was Sebastian Janikowski.
Hey, and that thing was
That's what I would call him.
that thing
thing
was,
was
dead central,
true.
too. I
It
mean,
was good
off
from
the
70.
foot where you like really.
Fuck.
It was good from 7.
Not even a
like,
glimmer
really?
of hope.
This man
It
just
was
hit
like,
that?
damn,
Like,
he
it
would have
was-
made it into a bucket.
He was Greg the Leg, and I said, who the fuck is this Sebastian Janikowski?
I recently heard.
That's
I
what's
recently
in my
heard
head.
Jared Goff too talking about. Look, we went to overtime. They got the ball back, and I go, yeah, Jared, the game's over. if
It's
they call
over.
it."
Yeah.
Like it is. Put the ball on the 3. We're gonna kick from the 3-yard line. We're gonna run the clock down. We're gonna kick,
an
and,
old
it's,
school
and the
extra point, and
game's
it's gonna be over.
over.
Yeah.
You don't even get a chance. Like I get it if this was some time left and this and that. The game's over if they call that. Then there's not. I'm like, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That whole place was in shock.
It was
my,
terrible.
My brother brought his best friend to the game. He's like, just pay me for the ticket after, like, no big deal, let's go. And he goes, I ain't paying you for that shit. He's like, that's not how it works. And then,
It wasn't his fault.
yeah, you gotta pay me. He didn't. And then somebody jumped off the escalator, like the what are they called? The
Escalator?
The escalator. Yeah. He instead of taking it, he just jumped off the top. He's like, people are out here trying to kill themselves
Wow.
after the game.
And the crazy. That's before. That's the
went
year.
full send down the thing. Just,
That's
I'm
the
out.
year after the Minnesota Miracle,
And then the next
which
year,
is awful.
Yeah.
Because that was all. Because you're gonna go play a down Patriots team that you were gonna beat.
The more I think about it, I see why Sean Payton left. He was like,
I can't do this.
the
no
juju's
more.
bad right now. I gotta press the reset button.
And y'all took my
somewhere."
perks away.
After 09, like they had some brutal playoff losses.
Oh, you have the Minnesota Miracle,
49ers.
no call, and then you have the Vikings again with the T.J. Hawkinson push off.
Yeah, but that was.
I know,
like-
but that was
you had
just
the
like a
Minnesota
little-
Miracle, aka the birth of Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had this one. Then you had the push off. It was just
You had the 49ers.
Before that,
You had the Beast Mode, the Beastquake game. Like, you had, those are all after 09. You had all these teams that were really good, and you played really good games in the playoffs, and then
over. Doesn't
Just
matter. Drew
crushes
Brees, the Book of Job.
crushes you. But, all right.
And now we have this.
Way to depress us on a Monday. All the bad times.
Chiefs plus 575. Just
There
hop
you
on
go.
the bandwagon.
There you go. Saints plus 10,000 if you want to make some money. You want to make some money. All right. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll be back live on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll have LSU recruiting conversation. Well, no, I'm not going to even say with because I'm still not sure if it's going to happen yet. But we're going to have some guests on the show, and then we're going to really start ramping up the football conversation. So we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you don't like watching us, you like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods. We love y'all. Peace.
Shay Dixon.